my last reading vlog on a kind of a downer because I was reading some books that I didn't really like. I didn't finish them and I just needed a break from my books, you know me. It seems like I've now found a book which I actually really adored, and that is a non-fiction book, The Glass Castle by Janet Waltz, which will also be a movie that is coming out here in Denmark in November, so this is perfect. I love the book. I'm so excited to watch the movie. This was just an eye-opener on how you can alternatively bring up your child, and this is crazy. I mean, Janet had such a rough childhood with her siblings, and her parents were adventure seekers. They were crazy, they were also endearing in some way, but not really the stereotypical kind of parents. So I really adored this. I'm going to get me some breakfast now and wake up. I was about to take a nap when I realized that I need to talk about a book that I finished earlier today. By the way, it's only Tuesday and it feels like Friday. This is the week that never ends. I have here in my hands a book that I checked out from the library. I was in the mood for a very cozy autumnal read, so I decided to check out A Week in Winter by Maeve Binchy, which is definitely cozy and a little bit too idyllic and too cringeworthy at times, but all in all I got what I wanted from it and it was what I needed, so I gave it 3 stars. I liked it, but not too much. That's it. I'm going to go back to my nap now. I want to show you something cool, which is my fridge, which currently has the nicest smoothies, which are good for you and have the cutest hats. I can't get over it. Apparently you support Red Cross when you buy one of these smoothies. And furthermore, I realized the other day that the TV show of Alias Grey has come out on Netflix. I decided to pick up the book and read it tonight. Not read all of it tonight, but I decided to pick it up and I am enjoying it so much. So this is a good pick for me, I think, and I'm definitely going to watch the TV show. I am all blurry. There you go. And I'm definitely good. I'm too tired for this. What is happening? What I'm trying to say is that I'm definitely going to watch the TV show of this book when I finished it, but it will take me some time since it is quite a huge novel. Right, Zeus? I want to show you what my shelves look like now that I have cleaned them out and gotten rid of, I think, over 100 books. Can you see a difference? There is definitely a lot of more space on my shelves, which I kind of enjoy because my goal is to reduce my collection to about 2 bookshelves, which are my core collections, the books that I really want to keep and reread over the years. That may sound super weird because we are all book lovers and I am definitely a book lover, but I don't necessarily need to own all of the books because I've realized over the years that's just too much work. I rather want to read my books and then enjoy them, and I know that guy. I just want to read my books and enjoy them and then get rid of them again so that I won't have to keep on to them and they take up so much space, you know how it is. And then over here on my last shelf we have all of my unread books. So there are still a few of them and my plan is to read them, get rid of those I didn't really like, and then keep the rest of them, I think. I don't know yet, but here you have it. This boy turns 6 years today and he's not very pleased to sit with me. I'm going to give him lots of kisses and cuddles all day long, whether he wants them or not. This is Bear Town by Fredrik Backman, which I have spent the last week reading. I have about 50 pages left, which I plan on finishing tonight. This book was interesting because it started out really strong. I loved it, but it's one of those books that grew weaker as it continued, unfortunately. So right now I wouldn't say I'm struggling to finish it. but I'm not enjoying it as much as I did in the beginning, and it's because of all the moralizing. I think he is right in what he says, but he keeps doing it and I'm not a big fan of that. But nevertheless, this is going to happen tonight. By the way, the book is about ice hockey and a fictional town in Sweden, I believe. Today is Friday and my plan is to finish this book, Alias Grace, and then watch the TV show, at least get started on it. It's an interesting story, a retelling of Grace, who was committed for a murder or 2 murders and then sent to prison for 30 years. So it's a retelling of that. It's been very interesting to read this retelling. I think I'm going to end up giving it like 4 stars. I always love Edward's books and this one is no exception. Alias Grace was amazing. I was supposed to watch like 1 episode per day because that's normally how much I can manage to watch, but I watched all 6 episodes in 2 days because I really loved it. I'm here to talk about a book which is the first book from the Goodreads nominations list. I did a video about this that I will link down below. But I did a video on some books that I want to read, and this was the first one, and it was a huge disappointment. It is The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan, and I did not like it. I gave it 1.5 stars. I can't fathom how this one can be on a best fiction list of 2017 because it's so cliche, it's so mediocre, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I really didn't like this book, which is about, well, it's a love story, but it's also about an elder man who keeps things that he has found that's been lost and then writes stories to go along with them. And I actually did like those stories quite a lot, but it's just so many... Please go read my Goodreads review of this book because it's very elaborate and it gives you an idea of what I didn't really like about it, and I won't go too much into detail right now. So after that one, I obviously needed a comfort read. Last night I felt like reading, but a book that I knew was going to be good. So I've started rereading Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and I love it. I freaking love it. It feels so good to read a story that I absolutely love and I think is original. So this is happening these days and I'm actually eager to get back to it tonight after work. I am once again struggling with my reading and I don't know why. I don't even remember my last clip. I think I talked about this book, which I did not really like at all. I think it's one of the worst books I've read this year, and the book kind of discouraged me from actually picking up any other of the books on that Goodreads list that I've been talking about. I did pick up this one though, but I made it halfway, and it's a good book, but it's not a book that I necessarily want to invest a lot of time and energy in. So I've been struggling, and this has happened to me a lot over the past months, which is not a good sign. Maybe it's a sign that I should just take a break from reading so that I can get back to enjoying it again. I am currently reading 3 books though, which are all rereads, because I find that when I struggle to pick up a book, it's always a joy to reread a favorite of mine. So I will just quickly go through the 3 books. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, but I'm still reading it. I might be able to finish it this month. I've also picked up East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I love John Steinbeck, even though this time around I'm not as sure as I was earlier that this is one of my absolute favorites. I will have to find out. And then also The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I picked this up on a whim because I felt like a Victorian classic. So yeah, that's what's happening these days, and I don't know whether this will be my last clip. If it is, I also feel like this vlog is going to be kind of crappy because not a lot is going on and I haven't felt very creative to do a lot of interesting clips and talk about some inspirational books. If I'm sounding a little bit like a downer, I'm sorry, but sometimes we all go through these periods of not so great reading days. If this is my last clip, have a great reading month anyway, and thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, happy reading.